I can't help feeling that this side of the House is doing a lot of the heavy lifting, Mr. Chairman.
First time for
and I'm actually thrilled to hear some words emerge from the mouth of the Minister and the Chair, and I invite the Minister to show us that there's more to him than fish and flogging off our public housing stock. And I would really welcome, sir, I would welcome some comment from the Minister on clauses, particularly clauses 19 and 20 and clauses 22 and 24 of Part 2. I think it would be great. I was hoping that we would hear from the member for North Shore, who used to teach constitutional law, and I thought he would have a lot of good things to tell the House about Part 2
never quite made it to being a senior lecturer
of this bill. No, but he's found, just like many of our Governors-General, he's gone on to bigger and better things. And that's one of the points that we have been covering in terms of, sir, the need for an annuity. And one of my colleagues, Chris Hipkins, made the point earlier that it's necessary because being Governor-General is not exactly good for your employment prospects. And I actually question that. I look at people like Dame Sylvia Cartwright, who's gone on to provide fantastic service on the tribunal in Cambodia, and also Sir Paul Reeves, who's provided distinguished service in Fiji and in academic life in New Zealand in the years following his tenure as Governor-General. Part 2 has some important clauses, sir. First, the amending of the Civil List Act 1979. It repeals Part 1 of that Act, which provides for the funding of the Governor-General, and it allows the establishment of, through this bill, of a standalone piece of legislation which reflects the importance of the office of Governor-General, and I think the symbolism of that is very clear. Clauses 22 to 24 provide for the amendment of the Income Tax Act 2007 to remove from the Governor-General's salary its tax-exempt status. But of course, as we know, it retains the tax-exempt status for the allowance. So the significance of these group of clauses in Part 2 cannot be underestimated. And they are, the motivation behind these clauses are the very reason why Labor has called for the beginning of a conversation about the future of our constitutional arrangements. We believe that for the very reasons that we are taking away the Governor-General's tax-exempt status and establishing these arrangements in standalone legislation, they are the very reasons why we believe, sir, it's time for our country to start having a conversation about our future constitutional status. Now, there are many New Zealanders, sir, who say, well, look, we're perfectly happy with this Queen, and she's provided many years of wonderful service as our head of state, and it would be impolite to begin a conversation about constitutional change while she's still on the throne. We take the view, sir, that our future constitutional status is too important to be left to a mad scramble on the death or abdication of the current Queen, and that we must begin now as a country to discuss not just these important practical details around annuities and so on, but actually the nature of our head of state, the office of the head of state, the way the head of state is selected, and whether in fact, thank you, sir, whether in fact the head of state should be in fact a New Zealander and not a member of the British royal family. So that's why we support these provisions. We think that they're important, they're necessary, because the Governor-General, the nature of the office, sir, demonstrates the fact that New Zealand is a constitutional monarchy, and there's a very real and important symbolism in having these provisions that provide the core of the second part of this bill in separate legislation. There's simply no longer any justification for the tax-exempt status of the Governor-General's income.
Mr Chair, I call Keith Locke.